Imagine a temple so meticulously constructed that every stone seems to defy gravity. Every alignment resonates with the movements of the sun. Every joint fits so perfectly that not even a thin sheet of paper can pass between them. This ancient temple remains a puzzle. Modern engineers and architects have yet to fully replicate its construction. Its walls encode a story about human perception, the limits of our collective cognition, and the extraordinary capacity of societies to channel knowledge across generations. We often think of ancient civilizations as primitive. Yet, here stands evidence their imaginations stretched far beyond what we attribute. In this video, we are not just exploring a structure of stone. We are exploring the very mechanisms of human adaptation, the psychology of collaborative effort, and the neurobiology of problem-solving that allowed a civilization to achieve something we still struggle to comprehend. This temple is more than architecture. It is a signal from the past, a transmission of collective intelligence. It is a mirror reflecting both the strengths and vulnerabilities of human societies. What does it take to construct something that resists decay? How did the builders perceive materials, space, and energy in ways that we are only beginning to understand? Why does this matter? Not just as a historical curiosity, but as a window into the interplay between human cognition, societal organization, and the perception of possibility? From the moment we examine the first stone, it becomes evident that this was not a random assembly. Each block carries traces of thought, calculations of weight distribution, careful consideration of angles, and perhaps even intuitive insights into resonance and stability. Neuroscience teaches us that the human brain constantly predicts outcomes, evaluates probabilities, and detects patterns even in subtle variations. The builders of this temple, consciously or unconsciously, harnessed this predictive capacity collectively. Imagine a society where hundreds, perhaps thousands, of individuals synchronize their neural energies not through digital networks, but through shared observation, oral transmission, and ritualized practice. In that sense, the temple is a cognitive artifact, a tangible output of a distributed neural network operating across both space and generations. Every perfectly aligned stone is a testament to what we might call social cognition, the ability of humans to perceive, communicate, and act on complex patterns of cause and effect collectively. It is here, at the intersection of archaeology, psychology, and physics, that we begin to glimpse the profound implications of such constructions. One of the most fascinating aspects of this temple is its enduring precision. Modern engineers have attempted to recreate similar structures using contemporary tools, yet they frequently stumble on the same issues. Issues that the original builder solved millennia ago without the aid of power tools, cranes, or digital modeling. How did these ancient architects manage tolerances that modern standards consider exceptionally tight? The answer may lie in their perception of materials. Cognitive science suggests that humans excel at pattern recognition and fine motor adjustments when attention is sustained over long periods, and embedded in social and ritual contexts. In essence, the temple was not built by machines or tools alone, it was built by the mind, amplified by a community deeply attuned to the properties of stone, friction, and leverage. Every stone was a node in a vast network of perception, and every worker contributed a micro-adjustment informed by observation, experience, and collective feedback loops. This approach parallels what modern neuroscience identifies as distributed processing in the brain. Individual neurons contribute small local computations that, when aggregated, produce outcomes far more complex than any single neuron could achieve alone. The temple, in its silent grandeur, embodies a societal-level analog of this phenomenon. Distributed cognition manifest in physical form. Psychologically, the act of building such a temple would have imposed enormous cognitive and emotional demands. Maintaining precision under physical strain, coordinating complex maneuvers, and preserving alignment over months or even years requires executive function. The mental processes involved in planning, monitoring, and adjusting behavior toward long-term goals. In modern terms, these functions are supported by the prefrontal cortex, the region of the brain responsible for decision-making, working memory, and social regulation. But consider this, the builders did not have explicit knowledge of neuroanatomy. Their understanding was empirical, encoded in apprenticeship, ritual, and iterative practice. They learned to synchronize attention, to distribute workload optimally, and to maintain focus collectively. Stress, fatigue, and uncertainty were not obstacles to be eliminated but variables to be managed. The temple's enduring stability suggests that the society had developed strategies to regulate these psychological pressures effectively. What might appear to us as raw labor was, in fact, a sophisticated exercise in group cognition and emotional regulation. The philosophical dimension of this construction is equally profound. In erecting a temple with such precision and durability, the builders were implicitly exploring the limits of human potential and the nature of permanence. They confronted fundamental questions about time, mortality, and the transmission of knowledge. How can knowledge survive beyond the lifespan of individuals? How can human intention be encoded in a structure that must endure the erosion of centuries? The temple becomes not just a place of worship but a philosophical experiment, a meditation on stability, resonance, and the persistence of cultural memory. This mirrors concepts in systems theory, where stability emerges not from rigidity but from adaptive feedback loops, resilience, and the capacity to absorb and redistribute energy. In this sense, the temple itself is an analog of a complex adaptive system. It is self-correcting, remarkably resilient, and attuned to both internal and external stresses. But perhaps the most intriguing question concerns the methods themselves. Archaeologists and engineers have proposed various techniques, from advanced leverage systems to water-assisted transport, yet none fully explain the precision observed. Some stones weigh several tons, yet they align seamlessly without mortar. Could the builders have possessed an intuitive understanding of material properties? Or did they employ a combination of repeated experimentation, careful observation, and socially transmitted knowledge that allowed them to train perception collectively? Cognitive psychology indicates that humans can, through repeated exposure and guided practice, achieve feats of spatial reasoning and tactile discrimination that seem extraordinary. When this capability is distributed across a coordinated community, the effect is magnified exponentially. In essence, the technique may be irreproducible not because it violates physics, but because it relies on a form of collective, embodied intelligence that we no longer cultivate in the same way. This brings us to the societal implications. Large-scale construction projects, whether temples, pyramids, or cathedrals, functioned as more than mere architecture. They were instruments of social cohesion and adaptive behavior. Engaging hundreds or thousands of individuals in a shared, goal-directed effort creates feedback loops that reinforce social norms, distribute stress, and enhance collective resilience. Neuroscience shows that shared goals activate reward circuits in the brain, synchronize neural oscillations among participants, and facilitate cooperative behavior. By participating in temple construction, individuals were not merely laboring, they were tuning themselves into a collective neural resonance that allowed the society to maintain coherence under environmental and social pressures. The temple, therefore, is both a product and a mechanism of adaptation. Its walls embody knowledge, its joints encode coordination, and its presence signals the power of synchronized human effort to survive and thrive in complex, unpredictable environments. Consider, too, the interplay between perception and action. Humans are not passive observers of the world. Our perceptions are shaped by expectations, attention, and prior experience. The temple's construction would have demanded extreme attentional precision, continuous error detection, and immediate correction. In modern cognitive science, this is akin to predictive coding, a framework suggesting that the brain continually generates and updates models of the environment to minimize errors. The builder's success indicates that they collectively maintained a predictive model of the structure, adjusting each stone in real time based on feedback from multiple perspectives. Each misalignment would have been corrected not through abstract calculations, but through sensory-motor intuition, communal observation, and iterative refinement, a process that mirrors the brain's own method of constructing coherent perception from noisy sensory input. And yet the twist lies in the subtlety of human limitation. It is tempting to marvel at the builder's precision and infer a kind of perfection, but in reality, the temple likely contains countless micro-adjustments, subtle adaptations to stress, and small deviations that were intelligently incorporated. Just as in neural networks, where errors and variability enhance learning and robustness, the minor imperfections in the temple may have strengthened its resilience, allowed flexibility under load, and provided opportunities for social learning. What we perceive as flawless is, in fact, an optimized system that leverages human cognitive and social constraints rather than defying them. The very limitations that modern observers might interpret as obstacles were, in a sense, protective mechanisms that enabled the society to transmit knowledge, coordinate effort, and preserve stability over centuries. This reframing challenges our assumptions about strength and weakness, revealing that human societies often survive not by eliminating constraints but by integrating them intelligently into collective action. The temple also invites reflection on our contemporary understanding of technology and progress. We often equate advancement with tools, machines, or data, yet the builders achieved extraordinary precision with comparatively minimal instruments. This underscores a profound principle. Technological achievement is inseparable from the cognitive and social frameworks that support it. Knowledge is not merely a collection of facts. It is a dynamic system of perception, attention, coordination, and shared understanding. The ancient builders exemplified this principle, achieving what modern engineers struggle to replicate because we have largely externalized these processes into tools and lost the embodied, distributed expertise that enabled such feats. In a way, the temple is a critique and a lesson. Progress is not solely measured by material output, but by the sophistication of human collaboration, cognition, and adaptation. As we trace our fingers over the worn surfaces of stone and observe the shadows cast by its precise angles at sunrise and sunset, we witness the enduring dialogue between mind, matter, and time. The temple challenges us to reconsider the boundaries of possibility, the nature of collective intelligence, and the ways in which human societies negotiate stress, coordinate perception, and transmit knowledge. It is a mirror reflecting not only the genius of its builders but also the latent capacities within our own brains and communities. What might we achieve if we could cultivate the same depth of attention, the same fidelity of social coordination, and the same attunement to the properties of the world around us? Could modern civilization, with all its computational power, replicate this feat if we neglected the subtler networks of cognition and culture that made it possible in the first place? Ultimately, the temple stands as a testament to the intertwined nature of human cognition, societal organization, and the perception of physical reality. It is a reminder that progress is not merely a linear accumulation of tools or knowledge, but an emergent property of complex adaptive systems where individual neurons, individual minds, and entire communities interact to produce outcomes that are greater than the sum of their parts. Its stones whisper lessons about resilience, perception, coordination, and the intelligent integration of constraints, lessons that remain profoundly relevant in an era defined by rapid technological change and social complexity. It reminds us that the human mind, when harmonized with others and attuned to its environment, can achieve structures of remarkable sophistication and beauty, structures that endure beyond lifetimes, and challenge future generations to reconsider what is possible. As we leave this temple and return to our modern lives, we carry with us more than awe. We carry questions that reach into the foundations of cognition, social dynamics, and the philosophy of knowledge. How can we, in our contemporary societies, harness collective intelligence to achieve outcomes that honor both precision and adaptability? How do we balance stress, attention, and social coordination to optimize resilience and creativity? And most provocatively, what other wonders might humanity have created if similar structures of perception and collaboration had been maintained or evolved differently over time? These questions extend beyond archaeology or architecture. They are invitations to explore the latent capacities of our brains, the hidden potentials of our communities, and the profound dialogue between past and present that continues to shape the trajectory of human history. If this journey through the silent signals of stone and the echo of collective cognition has intrigued you, consider how you can apply these insights in your own life and society. Reflect on the ways your attention, collaboration, and perception interact to produce outcomes that endure. Share your thoughts in the comments. How does this ancient feat inspire your understanding of human potential? Like this video if it expanded your perspective. And subscribe to Past Lens for more explorations at the intersection of history, science, and the philosophy of human behavior. Together, we can uncover the patterns of the past to illuminate the possibilities of our collective future.